Hi, I'm Nick Richmond, co-founder and CEO of Matrix Basements. I'm here with Shawn, Ashley, and their new addition, Carter. I'm also here with our design consultant, Steve. We wanted to get together today to walk through the space, have them highlight the amazing basement that they now have, and just talk a little bit about their experience with Matrix. So we're going to ask some questions, get your feedback. I think for those watching, it's important for them to kind of get a perspective from a customer. How did you guys hear about Matrix? Who referred you to us?
So I actually was just scrolling on Instagram and I saw some of the pictures popping up and I was like firing them off to Shawn, who doesn't even have Instagram, and he was like, okay, that's really cool. Like, what else do you see on there?
Well, so Ashley was pulled in by the social, marketing. I went on your website, did a little research first before we decided to reach out to you. So between the two of us, it was a good social media campaign to pull her in, and then I felt I got a lot of really good information from your website to ensure that we were going with a good partner to finish our basement.
And we were talking a little bit earlier about this. The builder did offer, at least mentioned, finishing the basement. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because I know we have a lot of homeowners that we're working with that are in newer homes. They're kind of debating between whether or not they should just use the builder, have the basement finished while the house is being built, or wait. Can you talk a little bit about that?
You had the house built brand new, and as part of the process with them, they asked us if we wanted to finish our basement. And what we were offered was a very simple plan that said, this is how we would finish the space. And we really thought about it, because we wanted to have a move-in ready home and have everything done. We're so glad we didn't finish the basement at the time, but we decided to take a step back, live in the space for a bit, and see what we needed, maybe what the house was missing or what we needed most in the basement. And I mean, we've talked about it a couple of times. We're really happy we didn't finish the basement because it wouldn't have fit our needs. It wasn't what we really needed to have in this space now that we've lived in the house a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we were offered some basic ideas, and I'm glad we passed on those because Matrix brought a whole new vision to life for us with our basement, and better than we could have even thought of on our own.
And you were able to live in the space, walk through the unfinished basement. I'm guessing you spent a lot of time walking through this basement, talking about where you might put the gym, like you have here now, that beautiful gym, or the wine room. I'm guessing that was part of it too, just getting a feel for the space before you really knew for sure what you were going to do down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Making sure that it was functional for what we eventually wanted and needed, and like focusing on things that I wouldn't have thought of until I was pregnant and things like that, so that worked out.
And I spent a couple days down here with what the builder gave, the simple plan, just kind of walking the space and realizing that wasn't what we needed. It didn't work for us. So when I kind of had an idea and she had an idea, we put the ideas together, we came down here and kind of thought where stuff made sense, but we're not experts. We didn't pull out tape measures, we weren't measuring, nothing like that. We were like, hey, it'd be nice if that was over there, that was over there. But it wasn't really until we made the decision to reach out to Matrix that we really got serious about the process.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about your interaction with Steve and kind of how that all flowed. I know he was here for quite a while, just trying to figure out exactly how to put together this dream.
So at one point I asked Steve if we should order dinner. I mean, he was here quite a bit.
We should have.
We should have. We should have. But, Steve, showed, I think the biggest thing, showed up on time, which is important. Everyone's schedules are tight. So Steve got here when he said he was going to be here. And really, I think the biggest thing that I appreciated, and you and I talked about this after Steve left, was he just listened to us. Like, he didn't come in and try to push a floor plan or push, a narrative that didn't fit us. He just kind of sat down and was like, okay, tell me what you're looking for in the space. And then, his mind started going and he came down here and did what he had to do. But I think that was the thing we appreciated the most, was just Steve's willingness to just listen. And he wasn't selling, he wasn't pushing anything. He just wanted to know what we were looking for in a basement.
Well, you guys did such a great job communicating wants and needs up front. I want a TV area, I want a bar, I need a workout room, I need play area. And it's not necessarily, it goes here, it goes there. That's really where we work with you guys, our experience, our expertise, and great communication from you guys, and everything falls into place. And it turned out awesome here.
The other thing we
glad
asked,
you guys are happy.
Yeah.
No, really. The other thing we asked Steve, which probably isn't normal in his questioning, was, Ashley was pregnant. We were waiting for Carter, so we really were interested in the process too, because I'm working full time. Ashley's working full time. Carter was on his way. We needed to ensure that we had the right processes in place to have this basement done without major disruptions to our life. So yes, we spent a lot of time on design. We also spent a lot of time on walk us through how this works.
The timeline and the steps.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was really important for us.
Yeah, I mean, it really reduced a lot of stress for me being pregnant. And one of my favorite things that I tell everyone about is the window system. So the contractors would be coming through and you wouldn't even know. I mean, it was dead silent down here and I could be upstairs doing whatever, even if I was sleeping, because, I was out of it, and it made it a seamless process.
You guys do have nice large windows here. So when deliveries are made, sometimes the guys can hop down the egress windows and life is uninterrupted. Depends on the house.
Yes.
Of course.
Did you get other opinions, or did you meet with other contractors? Tell us a little bit about that experience of kind of getting to the point where you knew for sure Matrix was for you.
Honestly, I think the more that we talked to Steve, the more that we liked Matrix and we liked Steve, and it felt very personable and not like transactional at all.
Yeah, so Matrix was our first appointment, and going into it, I'm a really analytical guy. We had planned to meet with multiple providers and look through pricing and everything. Like, that was the plan. I'm not gonna lie, this guy just came in, he felt like part of the family, and we signed that day. Like, we decided, which goes completely against how I'm wired, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
My wife would make that decision,
Yeah.
I would not make that decision. But we just felt, again, going back to Steve listening to our needs, we really appreciated how the process was laid out for us. So to answer your question, we had planned to, but we didn't. We signed with you guys the night Steve came out. We signed with you guys.
That's good to hear. Yeah, we don't want to come off pushy or like we're not trying to sell people. We just want to make it to where in the end, moving forward is a natural conclusion because of the way that we feel we've differentiated our company and our process too. You mentioned the Forever Wall earlier. I'm guessing Steve talked with you about that Forever Wall. Can you talk a little bit about why that was so important to your decision?
Yeah, so as part of my research on your website, I had seen this Forever Wall system, and actually you look pretty familiar from the video I watched. But so Steve, I asked him about it, and he spent quite a bit of time talking me through the Forever Wall system. And why was that important to us was because we had just built this home, huge investment for us, and we wanted to ensure that what we were doing in the basement was of the same workmanship, if not higher, and we wanted to make sure that it was sealed and tight, and no one wants water in their basement, right? That's the worst thing that can ever have happened. So, Steve answered my questions about your Forever Wall system, in which there's never a guarantee, but you guys are getting as close to guarantee as you can with the insulation, with the spray foam insulation you use, the purple board. Everything that you do is in mind of making sure that this is meant to last for a very long time without having any water or any seepage come in here. And that was really important to us, especially, again, starting a family. We're gonna have kids' toys down here. We're gonna have this as a space. The last thing we need is water in our basement.
Yeah, or a musty smell, or mildew or mold in the space, and even the acoustics. I don't know if you can notice the difference when you go into a basement that wasn't finished by Matrix, but I can tell you I can feel the difference just from an acoustics standpoint. Do you notice anything there?
I think you nailed it with the smell too. Yeah, like basements that have been, that have been for a couple, 5-10 years, there naturally is a little must smell to it. And when you know how those basements were finished versus how Matrix goes about finishing their basements, we're not worried about that at all. Like, we're not worried about having Carter spend a lot of time down here playing and things and not breathing in anything that he shouldn't be.
And this will be your first winter with the finished basement.
Yeah.
So you'll notice the difference. You'll feel the difference upstairs from now having this finished down here. That Forever Wall and the vapor is basically not coming in now behind the substrate because of that spray foam. So that's what's going to keep it from not smelling musty, and that's important.
And again, that was a big reason during my research, not just social media, but when I saw the Forever Wall system, that really appealed to me. And a big reason why I said, yeah, let's reach out to Matrix and have them come out and give us an estimate and walk the space with us.
And when was that? When was your initial meeting with Steve, approximately?
I think it was in February.
February.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, February. And then
Here we are.
And when did we finish the basement?
The beginning of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did have, so we had some delays.
Yeah.
But that was on our side because this guy came, so we stopped, which we didn't talk about, but we really appreciated. Matrix knew that we were going to be welcoming Carter to the world during the finishment of the basement, and I know we're going to speak with Victor, but Victor spent a lot of time keeping in communication with us around how things were going, to where when Carter did come, you guys weren't here hammering and stuff that day, right? The first day we got home. So we took a little time off when Carter came to help transition him to the home as well.
It's important to us. Every customer is different. Everybody has life situations, whether they're having a baby or work-related trips or weddings. Nick always says to his guys, remember, there's people that live in these houses. And so we always take these things into account because there's never a perfect time. People waited for a perfect time. We're all busy. We all have life events. But yeah, that's a big thing for us is really working around things like that and making sure that we can accommodate our homeowners.
And I'm glad you talked about perfect time, because we were talking about should we finish the basement because Carter was coming. Yeah, and the timing and everything. And that was a big decision for us. And honestly, I was talking with you, Steve, that we were comfortable taking on this big project while Ashley was pregnant and Carter was going to be born while this project was going on. Huge worry for us. Now looking back, so glad we did it then. It didn't wait because it really came out exactly as you said. We weren't interrupted. Life lived on. We had the break. Everything worked out really well. We couldn't be happier.
We find too, a lot of clients always have the question of not just when are you guys going to start, it's when are you going to be done? When are we going to get our house back and our lives back in order? We came pretty close, didn't we? So the target date?
Absolutely.
Within a couple days?
In fairness, you would have hit the target date had we not slowed things down.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that was on us. Yeah.
And we're going to talk to Victor too. Walk us through the timeline you gave them. I'm guessing when you felt comfortable moving ahead and you guys came to that conclusion, Steve laid out a timeline for you and expectations. Walk us through that.
So that was about mid-February, and plan review meeting was, I believe, early March, and had you guys started probably mid-April. So it was about 8 to 10 weeks from that initial sign up, and I think everything stayed on track here. About a 10, 12-week project, and we're just done at the end of June.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing we didn't talk about that's really important was, Steve, we had the initial meeting with you, and we joke, but it was a long meeting because we had a lot of questions and you were very gracious to answer our questions. But after the design, we had a couple weeks to digest everything and kind of walk the space a bit after thinking through it. And then we actually had another meeting with your colleague, Peter, who finalized the design, and we made some selections. And actually during that time, we changed the design because we had that time to think through it a bit. So that was really beneficial for us too, in that it's a lot, that first meeting, but we were reassured that think about this, like you have time to make any changes because you're going to have another meeting where you make your selections that you could do some adjustments as well.
Yeah, Peter came out. Everyone loves Peter.
So we have some shiplap in our basement. Peter's a big shiplap guy.
Yeah.
There's a Peter staple.
Yes.
That's right.
But in all seriousness, we have shiplap upstairs as well, so it made sense to carry it down. But Peter, not just to walk the space with us and assure that we had everything set up the way that we wanted. He offered his opinion and some ideas that we didn't think of, that maybe Steve didn't think. Like, it's almost another design person in the process. So now you have our design, Steve's design, Peter's design, and it all comes together, and we couldn't be happier because the changes we made, like, we couldn't even see the basement the other way, right?
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's all by design. Pardon the pun, but it's the initial design consultant kind of passes the ball down to production. Then comes Peter to tighten everything up. I think it's important you mention what you mentioned, because I think when people meet with the initial design consultant, they think that they're signing off on the final product, and that's really just getting the process started. It's the next phase of it that gets you deeper into selections. You guys did a great job with all these selections. Who was the selections?
I might have been the leader on most of the selections, but we knew we wanted like black and white, like classic, and then add some pops of gold, which it was awesome to see the accents that Matrix had to offer, just like a gold faucet and little touches here and there to sharpen the space up. But yeah, I feel like I leaded the selections and Shawn gave me his opinions on everything, and we had a lot of fun picking things out and curating the space to exactly what we wanted it to look like. And so it's classy and it's fun and it's got a play space, but it's got its bar and it's got our gym in the back. So it's kind of got a little touch of everything, which is just what we wanted and what we needed.
Yeah, I was more concerned with getting all of our wants or needs and wants in this space and making sure it fit. And then I left the detail work to her.
Perfect.
And the key word there is fun. We don't want it stressful. We're not curing diseases here. We're building basements, and it's fun for people, and it's fun for us. And when you see customers happy, it really brings everything to life. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the process.
Every day that workers would leave, we would come downstairs and be like, oh my gosh, look at this or look at that. And it was exciting every day to see the progress that was being made.
Absolutely. So now we have Victor here with us, the man, the myth, the legend. Victor, how long have you been with Matrix?
50 years possibly, or
15
more?
years. 15 years. Wow, how time is flying
Flying,
by, right?
Yes.
And Victor's a project manager. He's assigned to, how many projects at a time are you overseeing?
Around 20 to 25.
20 to 25 projects, that's a lot. So Victor's floating from project to project, making sure that the work is on schedule, that the quality is to the level that we expect, that the homeowners are happy, and that we have good communication. So we appreciate you joining us here today.
Thank you for
Talk a
inviting.
little bit about this project specifically. It turned out very good. You did a great job.
It was fun working with you guys.
I'm surprised to hear that Victor's on 20 to 25 projects at a time, because I felt he was only on our project. He was that accessible, and when he was here, that surprises me. I'm wording this right now.
Yeah, it actually surprises me, and I should know that. But that's a lot of projects at once. But that's, we have a dedicated guy here that doesn't shut off, and I think that's when you're in this business, especially working for homeowners in their home, you really can't shut off. You have to be accessible. You have to be working basically around the clock. We appreciate.
But
your
it's fun.
commitment.
Believe me, it is fun.
It is. And Victor's always smiling. He's always happy.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember our first meeting with Victor. He was smiling and happy, but as you said, what he told us was, I'm your guy, reach out to me day or night.
You want to work with people who appear to be at least happy with where they're working, and they're happy with their role. And nothing's worse than having somebody who's like begrudgingly showing up to your home, or if you're out to dinner, begrudgingly serving you at the table, right? Like, it's good to have, and his personality is a big part of why he's in this role, but then also his expertise. So let's talk a little bit about when Victor came into the picture. You had Steve out, went through the design consultation. You decided to move ahead with Matrix. We then went into our pre-production phase where Peter came back, tightened up everything with you. We produced a final plan with all the final selections. I'm assuming you signed off on that plan. And that kind of set the expectations for what we were going to build, with what materials, and that way we had a really good plan. And then once we had materials delivered to the home, we assigned your project manager, and that's when Victor came into the picture. Just to kind of help those watching understand where Victor comes in. So Victor's scheduling and coordinating the trades, giving you a timeline, right? And we use Builder Trend.
correct.
Okay. So when did you show up here physically?
That was on April 14, I believe it is. I'm trying to recall the
Yeah,
date.
you're
I'll
right.
take your word for it.
It's 12:51 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall, but it's, go ahead.
But even before Victor showed up, he actually called me just to introduce himself and state that he was a project manager and he was looking forward to working with us, and basically set expectations that materials were coming this date, which we had already seen because of the Builder Trend, which, by the way, makes everything really transparent. We know everything that's going on. What I really appreciate, which I think is worthy for everyone to know, is that you actually put the name of the individual who's coming for that trade. So when I open the door, I know the individual is introducing themselves because it's listed in Builder Trend. It doesn't just say electrical, drywall, plumbing. It says who's coming, and I think that means a lot. I travel for work, so there was some times when my wife was just here, and having the assurance that there was a name and an individual that she can trust that was coming here, made a huge difference. But Victor had called, introduced himself, said he was going to come out, and he came out and had a quick conversation with us when materials were delivered. And then after that, Victor was part of the fold for the next, call it, 8 weeks. Yeah.
The material delivery went smooth. Everybody was professional and careful with your home. And I know we have a nice egress window here. Tell us a little bit about that part, because that alone can be nerve-wracking. Just getting things off on the right foot, making sure that we're not scratching your floors or damaging your door jams and making a big mess, bringing things in and out of the house.
Like, we had no damage. Now that you say it, I'm like, there were no nicks anywhere.
Yeah, so the material got delivered in the morning, and the Matrix team was out here I don't even know if it was a couple hours, it was an hour later. So the material wasn't here long until it was then moved down to the basement. And as you said, the way our basement's set up, it's a lookout basement, so we don't have a full basement with the egress. So they were able to bring the materials in through the window. So they actually never came through our house at all with any material. It all came right through the window, right into the basement.
The only thing that I want to mention, doors and trim, that we had to use your front door.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, we had.
Those are just a little big.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fair.
Talk a little bit about, Victor, the process and kind of how you line everything up, how you communicate with the homeowners. You're managing 25 projects, so when do you find it's critical to physically show up to the project? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and it's just not about me. Remember, we have purchasing department, we have coordinators at the offices. So basically I get the schedule and then I go from there, right? So my most important thing for the project is to have a conversation with the customer, read the plans and see their expectations. It's very important. From there, I mean, it was pretty straightforward.
Now that I 2025 projects, he wasn't here every day, but he was here every other day, maybe. I mean, he was here very frequent to where at all points there was open communication with him. And I don't think I ever had to reach out to Victor via call or text because he was basically at the house almost every other day to where I could ask any questions.
It was a coincidence. You text me,
Yeah.
and then I'll show up. Tell me it was just a coincidence. I did it on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, he was here throughout the project, but never felt like we were on our own with any contractors or anything. Victor was always here to answer any questions we had, and again, I never felt like we were just left on our own.
And especially that we knew Carter was coming, it was very essential for me, for you guys to be stressed out completely and enjoy, of course, the remodeling.
Were there any unforeseen snags along the way or things that you saw that may be obstacles to the plan that we had made?
No, not really. The only thing that we have to swap was the granite. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have the one that you guys selected. We tried to find the best we could to match it, and I think we went perfect on the counter.
You wouldn't even know. It's perfect.
We love it. Had you not told us, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
No, but we have to be transparent.
Yeah, you were. We appreciate it.
And obviously, Victor, I think it's important to get to know Victor and our other project managers too. I mean, he's also hands-on. He started with us in the field, physically doing work. He can do things. There's a lot of project managers that really can't do the work. Maybe they can oversee and delegate, but he's actually hands-on.
Yes,
he understands when he's looking at something whether or not the workmanship is right and how it all comes together.
Yeah, I started as an installer, we call it back then, installers.
And Victor, there was, we were walking the space and things were coming together. I used this example when we were showing the wine room, but we originally just had the wine room kind of walled off, and you had suggested to us, you guys should pick out a tile to put back there. I think it'd look really nice, make it pop. Something we had not thought of, but then seeing it framed out, we said, yeah, that completely makes sense. So it was early enough to where we were able to go purchase the tile, and Victor was able to line up the installers that put it in. But had Victor not brought that to us, we wouldn't have that wonderful wine room that we love with the tile in the back. So Victor gets a little design as well while he's managing the project.
Got a vision. For sure, he's seen a lot of basements.
Yes, exactly. And we trusted him in that regard. He's seen it before, and he said it really looked good. So we took his word for it. We couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
And Victor was here every other day, it sounds like, and you were communicating through Builder Trend. Crews were showing up when they were supposed to and finishing when they were supposed to. I'm guessing at the end there was a final walkthrough. And like with most major projects, was there a punch list? There's
always a punch list, and the things that we had were very minor. And to be honest with you, you said Victor's a worker. I think he did a lot of the punch list himself. So honestly, when we did our walkthrough the first time, and then when we did a final walkthrough, most of the items were addressed by Victor himself in that time.
Did you see, I'm assuming you saw the punch list before?
Correct.
They did,
yes.
Which is important to me. That's the way I want us to work is, yes, you're going to live in the space more than we will. And I'm sure even still you might see something in the future that isn't quite perfect. You have to live in it to see it all. But preferably the project managers would see the punch list and make that punch list before the homeowner brings it to our attention. Is that the way that this played out?
Yes, and you know what? Something that
And
you
you
just
did the
mentioned.
work yourself?
Yes. Well,
My
a
man.
little here and there, right? But something important too. I like because homeowners are home, so you guys supervisors too, and I think that way help us in a way that you guys are fully satisfied at the end. When you're building out your house, you don't know what's going on.
So to Victor's credit, I was down here a lot, and he would tell me, "Don't worry, this is getting done tomorrow," because he knew I was down here all the time. So as you said, kind of front running the punch list. It wasn't even that. It was throughout the project. You know, something wasn't done right, ran out of time for the day. Victor would assure me they're coming back tomorrow to finish it. It's not staying like
So you
that.
have peace of mind.
I did, and he knew. You know, I think he was adapting to
Our
us
personalities.
Us as the customers, and
Yeah.
personality of I'm very hands-on. I wanted to be down here. I wanted to be part of it, see everything. So I think he was assuring me that he equally was aware of what was going on and that these things were going to be addressed.
Oh, yeah.
She would laugh because she'd be like,
I'd be like, where'd Sean go? And he'd be gone for an hour. He'd be like, oh, I was just talking to Victor then.
But that's great. That's great. You guys enjoying the remodel, and to me, it's very important. You guys enjoy the process from the beginning to the end.
and we never felt it was stressful. And she's half joking. I would spend quite a bit of time talking with Victor, asking him questions and such. And he was always very generous with his time to answer all my questions and ensure that, you know, we were really getting what we wanted and what we were hoping for.
Getting to the finish line is really important to us. We're doing so many projects at once. You built the home, so you understand. I've built new homes. Nothing's more frustrating than getting out the blue tape as the homeowner, making the punch list for the contractor that should already be seeing these things, and then bringing it to their attention. Then they finally show up to look at it and agree, and then the guy that comes out to look at it isn't the guy that does the work, so now he has to call those people back out. It sounds like that wasn't the case here.
No, I'm dead serious. Victor did a lot of the work on the punch list.
The most stressful part.
Yeah.
Because building basements is just like building a home, and we're basically home builders, building spaces below grade. And for me, as the owner of this company, that's probably the most important part is finishing in a way where the homeowner doesn't feel like they're pulling teeth to get the finished product that they paid for. You know, and it sounds like Victor did a good job of seeing things through to fruition for you.
Yeah, we couldn't be happier. And when even between the punch list and the final sign off that we're done, you know, we're talking maybe 48 hours. I mean, it wasn't anything long that we were worried about. It was right away, everything was addressed, and, you know, it was almost like you got the keys, right? Like the basement's yours, enjoy it.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Well, we appreciate you sharing your experience with us. We appreciate you, Victor, joining us for this. What would you say to those watching about Matrix and you know, those who are looking to finish their basement? Any suggestions you would offer?
I think with Matrix, you get not just high quality work, but you get high quality people, and that is something that we're really taking away from our Matrix experience. That from start to finish, everyone was very personable, and that just makes the process even more comfortable, and that you know that you're working with good people, and I think that makes the whole project just even more exciting, and the experience like comes to life with everything you envisioned because of the people who are behind it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the biggest thing I took away was don't wait. If you're thinking about doing your basement, like, we couldn't be happier with this space right now. And we had talked about waiting, like when was the right time, and I'm so glad we didn't, because the space turned out phenomenal. We love the space, and it's all because of Matrix, and we picked the right partner in this space. Like we said, we were planning on speaking with many basement finishing companies. We met with you first. We met with no one else. And there was a reason for that. We felt like we were part of the Matrix family from day one. And even sitting here, we still feel like we're part of the Matrix family, and couldn't be happier with our basement.
Well, we appreciate that. Welcome to the family. We feel like we're a part of yours as well, and your beautiful new addition.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us out, and thank you for putting the time in to share your experience with those watching.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.